Howdy folks, George Shively, South Shore Marine Electronics back with you. We are on a Silverton 392 2000 model Flybridge cruiser here. And just kind of showing you the initial layout here before we go ahead and start making some changes. The newest component on the boat is this Ray Marine display, which is an RL80. But the way that's kind of mounted, really, if you're sitting at the helm seat here, you can, to your port side, it really blocks your view. So we're going to go ahead and remove that. And down to the port side here, you have some older vintage equipment, Raytheon L755 sounder, and in the middle, the Tri-Data, and then a Raytheon 220 VHF, and then an RL70 radar. All that equipment's going to be removed, save for the Tri-Data. We're going to go ahead and keep the Tri-Data and just simply convert that CTalk data into NEMA data and be able to reuse that in the new Garmin system which we were putting on the boat. So just kind of wanted to give you a heads up here of what we look like initially. The new display, the new Garmin display, is going to go right where the existing sounder, the black and white sounder display is, and clean up the helm, make it a little bit more user-friendly, a lot more reliable, and just kind of wanted to give you an overview of what it looks like right now. So we'll be back with you when we have some progress to show you. Howdy folks, George Shively, South Shore Marine Electronics back with you here. Back on the Silverton, if you take a look inside the helm here, it's just sort of a mess. I mean, there's just wiring everywhere. There's stereo wiring, there's navigation wiring. It's just a real mess of wiring, as you can see. Going to do our best at cleaning at least the navigational aspect of this up. So just kind of want to give you a heads up here of what this looks like prior to us getting started in here. So this is kind of a look at what a normal helm looks like after years of many different hands being in and only taking responsibility for a certain aspect of the project. So we'll try to clean this up, make it look a little better, a little bit more reliable. Thanks very much. Howdy folks, George Shively back with you here on the 392 Silverton. I want to call something to your attention here. If you kind of follow my hands here, you can see that this is a red wire, and it gets up here and goes to a blue butt connector. These really aren't my favorite kind of butt connectors because they do fail over time simply because they're not heat shrinkable. But look on the other side of that. If you look carefully, on the one side you've got red and on the other side you've got black. That's just a big no-no. Whoever installed the stereo here just did a real bang-up job. I found this, interestingly enough, because this was just hanging on the negative bus, which you can see right in front there. It didn't even have a ring terminal on it. I'll tell you, you really do get what you pay for here. The stereo wiring is just really an absolute mess, and that's what a lot of this stuff still is on the bottom. You can see down here in the corner where I've wire tied some of the wires that are no longer going to be used, transducer wires, etc., that are no longer going to be used in the new system. But a lot of this that you see up in here, a lot of the spaghetti is just all wiring associated with the amplifier and stereo. It just was really not done very neatly. So just kind of wanted to call that to your attention. I mean, how wrong is that? A red wire goes into a black wire. That's just not right. So anyway, working away here on the boat. Well, here, let me tuck this up here. I'll show you what the helm looks like as we're moving along here. Most of the gear's off the helm. The monstrosity that was on top of the helm is gone. We'll make a little cover plate for that hole that you'll see right there. The port displays, VHF starboard displays, all those are gone, and we'll end up putting cover fascia over this area here and remounting the VHF, which will go right here. and the new 5212 will go on the port side over there, as that area is a little bit wider than the starboard side. So that's where we're at. Thanks very much. Hi folks, George back with you. I just want to show you what we did. We corrected this. We're not here to work on the stereo, but I'll be gosh darned if I'm going to let something like that pass on my watch. So what we did is we took that black wire that's coming out of the harness that powers the stereo unit right there, and connected it to, of all colors, a black wire, using a butt connector, which is fine, that is heat shrinkable. That will probably outlive me, and I'm 49 years old. So and then take that over to the negative bus. I mean, whenever you see, you know, red wires going to the negative bus, something's wrong. Again, it's just, you know, not caring about what you're doing. So, you know, this is kind of the most important part of the job. It's something that's rarely seen. You know, the look of the helm is obviously important, but this is the critical part down here. You got to know what you're doing, and you got to give a darn about what you're doing, because if you don't, you know, eventually you're going to pay. So anyway. Just want to show you what we did there, what we found, and how we corrected it. Thank you. Howdy folks, one last look here on the 392 Silverton. Everything's wrapped up, put back together, and just a whole lot cleaner than where we were before, with a bunch of displays and things. I mean, that large display that was up on the port corner there on the helm is gone, and we have, you know, unobstructed visibility now out the flybridge glass. One thing I want to point out to your attention here is, if you look on the lower left corner there on the Garmin display, you'll see that there's a depth indication, 4.6 feet, 5 feet, kind of going back and forth here as we sit at the dock. What I've done here is I've tied that depth indication into the old existing Raytheon Tridata, and you'll see that's showing 1.7, 1.8 feet, oscillating back and forth. What the owner wanted to do was to have a setup similar to what he had before, and that was where he actually had two depth sounders on the boat, which is not always recommended because they can interfere with one another. But with the Ray data, or the Raytheon, what we've done is we've taken the CTalk data coming out of that unit, converted it to NEMA data, and then imported it into the 5212 over on the port side of the helm there, because he wanted to have the Garmin show him actual water depth, like from the surface down, and then he wanted to have the small Raytheon SD60 Tridata show him depth below prop. That's just what he's used to, and that's how we kind of wanted to have it laid out. So that's what we've done. So that's why, if you're looking closely here, you'll notice that there's two depth indications. We've just adjusted the offset accordingly to give him, you know, actual depth of the water, and then depth below the prop here. Also added the ICOM M504, and if you'll notice there, you can see the coordinates are also coming from the 5212 to enable DSC. We've also tied that into the NMEA opto device down here for the ACR personal locator beacon. It's currently off the helm, but you can see the connection right down there. What that little device here does is this gives position information to the ACR PLB, so that should that be set off, it knows exactly where the vessel or person is. So anyway, that's where we're at. Job's wrapped up, everything's working well, and we're out of here. So, as always, George Shively, South Shore Marine Electronics. Our telephone 216-407-6553, and email address is southshoremarineenelectronics@oh.rr.com. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.